best Hungarian foods, paprika csirke, which is chicken paprika. Let's see, stuffed peppers, tilted paprika, tilted kaposta, which is stuffed cabbage. That's probably one of my favorite ones ever. They eat that a lot during Christmas time. It's like cabbage leaves that have been either pickled or boiled, and then they have a rice and meat mixture that they roll up in it and then cook it for a really long time. And they cook it with sauerkraut as well. And so it gives it a little bit different flavor, something that I was kind of unfamiliar with, but it's the best food ever. But whenever anyone asked me what my very favorite food was, I told them szilvásgombocs, and that's a plum dumpling. So you start out with a little plum, and then they have sort of a potato dough that they wrap around it, and then they boil it, and then they roll it in breadcrumbs and cinnamon sugar, and I just could not get enough of those. Every area, what do you like? Szilvásgombocs. Most of the time I would tell them that in hopes that they would invite me over sometime for szilvásgombocs. And in one of my areas, I guess I talked about it so much that one of my investigators made them for me and then took a picture, and then before I left gave me a mug of me eating szilvásgombocs on the mug. So I'll always remember how much I love szilvásgombocs. A little bit difficult to make, but so worth it. So worth it. Other foods. Any of their pastries, whether you buy them in the bakery or if they're homemade, never had something that I didn't love. They have a lot of rétes, which is like a strudel, lots of different types. Something that I mentioned earlier was poppy seeds. They eat a lot of poppy seed. Here in America, the only thing we eat with poppy seeds is like poppy seed muffins, and the poppy seeds are just scattered throughout the muffin. In Hungary, that's like the main, they make it into a paste, and then they put it inside baked goods. And it has a little bit different flavor. A lot of missionaries don't really like it, but I loved it. They call it mac. And they put that in rétes, and so it's just like chock full of poppy seeds. They have, another thing that they use a lot is something called turo, which is kind of like a dry cottage cheese, a little bit more, I don't know, it falls apart more. And we don't really have it here in America, but they'll sweeten it with sugar and with lemon zest usually, and then just put that in rétes or put that in other baked goods, and I loved that so much. A lot of things that I really, really loved we can't really get here, so I miss Hungary a lot, Hungarian food. They have gulyás or goulash, which is really popular, probably the most popular Hungarian dish, and that's basically a stew with meat and potatoes and carrots and other vegetables. But the trick is the paprika that makes it Hungarian. That's the most popular Hungarian spice is paprika, Hungarian paprika, and most Hungarian food starts out the same way with onions and oil and then paprika, and then you just go from there.
I didn't really eat too much with members or investigators, but they're occasionally they would have us over, and almost always they would make the same couple items. There's one dish that's called paprika csirke. That's probably my favorite. It's like a peppered chicken, but that's not quite the translation I'm looking for. It's just like a spice. It has some little noodle things that it has with it. It's really good. I like that one. And then they use potatoes. There's a couple of dishes that have potatoes. Really, they're all really good. I never had anything I didn't like. But we also didn't eat with members too often, so we made a lot of dishes at home. I ate a lot of soup and sandwiches on my mission. Don't have a ton of time for lunch, so made some pretty simple dishes, but it was always good. I really like, one thing that I love about the food is it's a lot more fresh than, at least it feels more fresh than here. Maybe too fresh sometimes, like the eggs, they sometimes still have feathers on them and whatnot, so just make sure you wash them. But no, it's really good. I love getting fresh fruits from the markets, and And then I'm sure everybody talks about the Pék shakes. They're little bakery places where you can get little bread treats, and they're really good. So all the missionaries love those. Yeah, all the food's pretty good. I never tried any of the weird stuff that some of the missionaries talk about, so I just never got the opportunity. But it's all good. It's all fun.
When I arrived into Hungary, it was my first week, I had gotten to try all kinds of different types of food. I served in a city called Nyíregyháza, and the old ladies there, we call them nannies, they could cook like no other. And they just wanted to feed us all the time, and that's really rare. So I got to eat right off the get-go. I got to eat a lot of different types of food. And I think the best Hungarian food I ever had was fruit soup. And you think of fruit soup and it's kind of like, fruit soup, that doesn't really work, right? And that's the exact same thing I thought too. Fruit soup, that doesn't really go together. It's not like peanut butter and jelly, you know, it's not like chips and salsa, it's fruit and soup. And so this nanny just gave it to us, and she was like, hey, you know, here it is. It looked delicious. It was like a pink, purple color. It just was glowing. And I was like, wow, this is what fruit soup is? She said, do you like it hot or cold? I was like, I could try it hot. And she looked at me, she's like, no, I think you would like it cold. I was like, all right. So she gave it to me, and first bite, I just fell in love. Absolutely just drop down to the ground and just almost started worshiping the soup. It was so good. And it's really easy to make. I mean, go online, look it up, but it's delicious. It's really good. And that's something that's very, very unique to Hungary, is the fruit soup. So if you go to Hungary, try the fruit soup. It's really good. You won't be let down. Bad foods. There's sausage. They have tons of different kinds of sausage there. They have horse sausage. They have pig sausage, chicken sausage, all kinds. But there's one particular sausage that I just despised, I guess that's a good word. Hated? I don't know. It was really, really bad. First of all, it looks black. It's like a black sausage. They call it hurka. That's the name for it. And it was served to me from a gypsy family. And gypsies cook really, really good food, by the way. So, I mean, this is just something that all Hungarians eat. This isn't just gypsies. And I just tried it, and I thought it was the most disgusting thing. And you ask anybody that knows me, I am very brave when it comes to food. I can eat anything. But this hurka stuff, I could not shove it down in my throat. So what it is, it's blood sausage. And so, I mean, they take every single part of the pig. I guess it's what sausage is anyways. But it's just the way that they cook it and like put it together. Like when you eat it, you can, like kind of start picking little pieces of bones out of your teeth because it's just gross. But they love it. That's something that's really, really unique to Hungary, as well as a hurka. So if you want to try something unique, try that. A lot of Hungarians love it. But me, no thanks. I didn't really like it very much, but it was very unique. So, try it. You have to try it. It's not a Hungarian experience unless you try it. There was another dish that they served called korcsolya. And what it was is that what they do is they put fat into a bowl, and then they throw like parts of a pig or I don't know, just like any type of meat in it. And then they put it in the freezer. They eat it in wintertime. They put it in the freezer. And after a certain amount of time, they take it out and they just serve it to everybody. And of course they season it, they put like pepper, salt and stuff in the fat and everything. But that stuff is just really, really bad. It's really, I wish I could have brought pictures, because there were pictures of me eating it, and there was a before and after picture. I looked really happy that I finally had, korcsolya in my hands. I was like, wow, this is legit Hungarian. This is good stuff. And then the next picture, just my face was like this, like, it was really, really bad. So the korcsolya and the hurka, I think those are two of the most disgusting yet awesome Hungarian foods out there. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about the food for days. Hungarians are really proud of their kitchen. They're really proud about, their cuisine and things that they have. Yeah, they really like stuffed cabbage too. Try stuffed cabbage. It's really, really good. Tejföl tutott kapusta. If you're Hungarian, you're watching this, and you heard those two words, you're probably nodding your head like, oh yeah, baby, that stuff's good. Delicious. It's great. I mean, Hungarian, mostly everything in the Hungarian cuisine is awesome. So you won't be disappointed. And coming from a Mexican culture, we have really, really good food, and we're really, really proud of our food. And the way we cook it, the Hungarians, I mean, we're like right here, and Hungarians are like, they're like up here. So, yeah, they cook really good food. You won't be disappointed. They cook a lot of it in grease. They use a lot of oil and things like that. But they still manage to keep, pretty good. They still manage to stay in shape. So, I mean, us Americans, we deep fry everything in grease and stuff like that. And, all of us are, a lot of us are kind of overweight. So you won't gain weight in Hungary. Just tract a lot, street a lot, and you'll be fine.